All right, good. I hit the wrong button. I'm glad you people told me. So, all right, so we're going to do the SQL injection, which is right at the top of the Portswigger Labs. This is the burp browser, and I've logged into my Portswigger account. So here's the first SQL injection. So I open this here, and I open the lab, and here's what we're trying to do. What's going on is this web page has got products and there are categories. So I can go to like gifts. Now, let me clear these old requests. Okay. Oops. Well, okay. There, it's cleared the old stuff. Now I click on gifts. Okay, notice up here in the URL I have category equals gifts. So if I look at that request here, send it to the repeater. Okay, so here's category equals gifts. Now what they told me in the problem statement is it's using this query, select star from products where category equals gifts and released equals 1. And the goal is to see all the products, not just the ones with released equals 1. And so I can inject data here. Now, the first thing you do is you try injecting a single apostrophe if you want to see the vulnerability, and that should lead to an error message if it's not filtering out those apostrophes. So let's send that. And the response shows internal server error. And if I render it, it might even show a nice big SQL error, and it might not. It just says internal server error. However, still, that strongly suggests that it does have a SQL injection vulnerability. And now I just need to adjust it so that it will be fooled. So the easiest way to explain this is to put that in a text editor so we can play with it. So I got this. Okay, so there's the original query. And I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, so now what I want to do is put in gifts or 1 equals 1 and then start a comment. That should do it. If I put in that for the parameter, then this part will be ignored, and now it will be category equals gift or 1 equals 1, so it will always be true, and I should see everything. One trick, though, is spaces are going to break it, because this is the first thing I tried. So if I go to burp, which I'm having trouble finding, there we are. And so I do that, gifts or 1 equals 1 dash dash. The problem is, as you can kind of see, these spaces are going to confuse it. So when I send it, that's a protocol error. Those spaces are so evil, it's even getting in the way of the structure of an HTTP1 request. I can't have spaces in my parameter, so you got to put in plus signs instead. And that ought to work. Now it's a valid HTTP request, and the response is showing a lot of objects. And you see that's what a gift or 1 equals 1 dash dash, and there's a lot of results, and that's one way to win. All right, so that's the simplest SQL injection. The next one I thought was kind of fun because my solution was the hard way. So I'll show you my solution and then the recommended solution. So here's one where I'm trying to bypass the login. Okay. So I go to the lab. Yes. All right. And then I go to my account to log in. Okay. And now I'm just going to put in an A and a B just to get the login request. And I'm going to clear all the old stuff out of my burp. Proxy, history. All right, so now I log in. And now in these little labs, you probably don't really need to clear the history, but when doing a real website, you really do, because real websites like Amazon have dozens of requests for every page, and it gets confusing. So here's where I logged in. Okay, there's my request where I sent a cross-site request forgery token, username and password. All right. By the way, one thing that's kind of funny is it's apparently not using this CSRF token, or it wouldn't let me run it in the repeater. If I go to the repeater and I repeat that request without modifying it, the response still shows invalid username or password. So that's nice. It's letting me use the repeater, which makes my life a lot easier. So the first thing I thought is, of course, I'll do the same thing. I'll put username is going to be a apostrophe plus or plus 1 equals 1 plus dash dash. And then I thought I would put the same thing in for username and password, but I realized this will comment out the rest of the statement, which checks for the password. So this will probably do it. This will always be true, and usually if you're true, you'll authenticate as the first user in the database. So if I try that, then the response tells me found, which I think is all right. And anyway, I found one like this that worked. And let's try it here. I think I have to put it here to see it, because 302 means it worked and it's redirecting me to another page, but Burp didn't follow that. So I'm just going to put a apostrophe or 1 equals 1 dash dash, and then just anything here, like a Z. And now, invalid CSRF token. Right, that happened to me before. I think because I used my Burp. I confused it with the CSRF. So I'm going to refresh this page to get a valid CSRF token, and now put in apostrophe or 1 equals 1 dash dash, and then any letter there. And now I'm in. I'm an administrator. So I thought that was cool, and that was a good solution. But then I looked at their official solution, and their official solution pointed out something I had not considered. Here's the solution. Modify the username parameter to be administrator apostrophe dash dash. Remember, the way this works, if I log out and go back to my account, if I put administrator here and then apostrophe dash dash, it will give me the username administrator and then ignore the password check. So I don't need to put in the right password. I can put in the wrong password and the username. This way I can get in anybody's account, not just the administrator. So this is a more powerful attack. And there, anyway, so that's another example of SQL injection. And one thing I often find when doing these is you have to try different kinds of comment characters. Dash dash I think is for Windows systems, pound sometimes for Linux systems, and so on. Anyway, there's a couple of SQL injection, and there's more of the complicated ones down here too. That's all I wanted to show you.